Hello everyone and welcome back, and today I want to talk about small parts. Every project that I seem to do has some kind of small parts: nuts, bolts, screws, bits, bobs, pieces. They're all so small and they're easily lost. There's really two aspects of small part storage that I want to talk about. First, we're going to talk about how to keep up with small parts when you're actually doing a job, and the second will be how to organize and store small parts between jobs and just sort of keeping your supplies in an organized way. This is how I do things. I'd love to hear how you do things, so make sure you comment below with what your system is, or if you have any questions as I go through stuff. So first part, when working on a car, I have gotten much better about this over the years, but I still am not great by any means. So the basics you can do, a cardboard box, a bowl, piece of Tupperware, or something just to keep the bolts in, nuts, screws as you take them out. I have in my cart here some of these little metal bowls that just have a magnet on the bottom. Those are great. They're cheap from Harbor Freight or Amazon or Walmart, and I have several sizes. I have some that don't have magnets on them. They're just, it's just it's a little bowl to put something in. If you want to go a little bit fancier, I got these from Craftsman. I only got them because they were on clearance, and they're red and black, like just about everything else in my garage, but they pop out to make a little bowl, and they have 5 little magnets inside. These are super useful for keeping things in. I actually have some bolts and things. I think those are from the Mini Cooper. Should probably keep up with that a little bit better. But they're in there, staying safe, not getting, I don't know what they go to, but they're not lost. I also have these from Cedi. I got them on Amazon. They are a silicone rubber tray, and you've got the big tray for kind of keeping longer bolts or wrenches in or something where you can set that on the engine bay while you're working. And then this size has the little magnet tray that actually can come out, and it has some little holes built in to keep sockets or small things stuck into. I really like those. I've been trying to use them more and more, instead of you take a bolt, you get it out, and you set it like on the lip at the back of the engine bay, or you set them along the fender rail in there, and you just hope that they don't roll off or something. So I'm trying to get better about keeping them in little bowls. And if you have enough little bowls, depending on the job you're doing, sometimes it's remove this, then remove this, then remove this, just to get to the thing that you're actually working on. Having multiple little bowls can help keep them organized, so you can have a little bowl for each part that you're doing. And again, you can use paper plates, or really anything for it, just something to keep them organized. I actually have these. I haven't even unwrapped them this batch yet, but these are Hefty EcoSave. They're compostable compartment trays, but there are 12 in this pack, and these are just paper. Open them up. Why am I showing you in the bag? Anticlimactic. They're paper lunch trays, right? So what's cool about these is there are 5 different little compartments in the tray. It's light, it's easy, it's not going to scratch stuff. Once you start putting bolts in it, it's not going to blow away. But what's cool is, because they're this paper, you can write on them with a Sharpie. So if you have a Sharpie or a pen or a pencil, while you're doing something, you can water pump bolts, pulley bolts. You can write on there, and especially if it's something that you're going to be doing and coming back to later, like maybe you're doing it later that day, maybe you've got to order parts, and so it's going to be a couple days or even a week before you get back to it. Put this someplace where you're not going to knock it down, you know, where they're not going to get lost, but writing in there what each of those is for is extremely helpful. And also, sometimes you get into those more precise jobs where maybe there are, you know, 6 different bolts that come out and they're different lengths and they need to go back in specific spots. Like being able to label it's really nice. This is just an easy, cheap way to do it. I got 12 of them. I think they're like, they work out to be like 50 cents a piece or something on Amazon. It's totally worth it. Let's see what else. I also have these. They're a very unmanly sort of mint green color. They're from IKEA. I don't know the IKEA name of them. It just says CL and MX on it. But these were like $1 a piece, and they have this little clip. I think they're for plants, maybe. But they have this little clip hook kind of thing on the back, and these fit really well on my tool cart. And so it's just this nice little hanger. I can throw tools in, I can throw wrenches in there, I can throw nuts and bolts in. Just like the cups, it's an easy way to keep things and they're not going to get lost. And these are nice plastic. I can wash them out, clean them. If I really wanted to, I could use dry erase or a Sharpie or something and write on them what they're for. Just another good way to keep things organized. Really, all you need to do is just keep your things organized. You just need to keep them in some way that you can keep up with them. Because I have worked on cars. I feel completely blessed right now to have an asphalt driveway and a concrete slab to work on. I have worked on cars in gravel driveways and dirt driveways and in the grass, and you will drop something at some point, especially if you're not keeping up with them. If you're not keeping them in a bowl or something, you'll drop them. It's just so much nicer to be able to keep them in something. And then again, if you got to stop the job for some reason, or you need to close up the car, maybe the weather's not agreeable, having them in these little cups and bowls makes a huge difference in being able to stop a job and come back to it. So now let's talk about keeping up with small parts when you're not in the middle of a job. Maybe you just need to keep nuts and bolts or electrical pieces or electronics or something around, all the little bits that you have to do projects. These boxes from Husky, I am in love with. They are so fantastic. They come in a pair. There's a sort of this thin one, and then there's another one that's a little bit thicker. They come in a set with one each. Normally they're about $15. You can catch them on sale for $10. That's $5 a case. They're a really nice hard plastic. They have these clear lids, and they're sort of configurable. The small ones have half of it are set sizes in there, and then the second half of it has this little grid that you can take in and out and make big rectangles or big squares or little squares for whatever size you're keeping in there. I go a step further, and after I configured it and put them in there, I use my label maker and put little labels on what is sort of in each hole, what's supposed to go in there. And then on the front, so this says, you can't see it, but it says automotive electrical. So these are relays and fuse taps and some stereo removal tools, battery terminals and switches and all those kind of things that I would use in this case. Here are two of the thick ones. Watch this. They lock together. They're interlocking. They have these little side tabs. They stack really well, and they're interlocking. It's so good. So I keep my nuts and bolts in these also. Unlock, separate, and they have really good latches on them. And so like this is my metric nuts and bolts. And let me come in a little closer to show you. I don't want to open it up all the way. But you can see in here, the larger ones, they have a built-in structure around the outside, and the inside is this big open piece with 9 cups in there. And those cups are awesome. What I do is I go in with a Sharpie and I wrote what size nuts and bolts are in each one. But like if you're doing something and you need to take it, like you open it up, and you just take that cup with you. You come back, put it in, latch it, you're all set. I cannot recommend these enough. These are fantastic. I actually have, when I was redoing the garage and really trying to get everything organized, I have, you can see them right there. I have 2 more pairs and the skinny one just in reserve, because I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to find them again. Once I learned that I loved them so much and they were so perfect for just about everything that I do, I was worried I was going to need more and I wasn't going to be able to find them. So I have quite a few in reserve up there. I have still seen them. It's been several months now and I've still seen them at Home Depot. Hopefully they'll keep carrying them for a while. But if you find something like that you really like, hold on to it and buy more than you need at the moment, if you can afford it. You know, if you're stretching or something, don't do it. There's always something else that'll work. But if you can afford to get a couple extra of something that you really like for storage, it's really nice. Harbor Freight has some good stuff too. I've got this little guy that this little guy has 2 arms that flip down, and it comes with these little clear cases. Now there's nothing in them. You put stuff in there, and I use this for mostly screws, nails, little hardware pieces. And I've got lots of different sizes in there. I've got wood screws, sheet metal screws, hangers, the little U-clips and screws that you use for car interior pieces. It was like $10. I think it's totally worth $10. I don't know if that's my forever solution for those things, but it's worked pretty well. Where it gets tricky is the little clear boxes that are in there. This one is wide open, the whole case, so you can cut kind of big things in there. I put the monkey hooks in that one, but then divided across the middle and has 10 compartments in there, which is great. It keeps things organized, but it's a good thing these are all small, because this is only, only about 4 inches tall. So you got to have small stuff to fit in there. And if you've got a bunch of longer things that you need to organize, maybe a bunch of long screws or bolts or nails, like, this might not work for you. But I have managed to fill up every one of the little compartments with something, and it has really helped. Now I still have a few boxes of screws, or maybe I have 100 or so of 3-inch drywall screws, and there's just not enough space in that. But I do have one of the containers that is maybe 20 3-inch drywall screws, just if I'm in the middle of doing something inside, I go, well, maybe I want a longer screw for that, or maybe I want a shorter one. I have some in there also. Here's another thing from IKEA that I just picked up. I haven't even found a use for it, but they were basically $1 a piece. You come in a pack of 3 for $2.99. And what's cool is they're stackable. They have these 4 little feet line up with 4 little divots in the lids, and they have a latch that is really pretty good for $1 little plastic tote. So nuts, bolts, screws, something can go in there, and you could write on it with a Sharpie, clean it with like an alcohol wipe or something, and would do really well. I'm excited about these. Like I said, I saw them and I was like, I need to get these. I need to try these out. I don't know what I'm going to put in them, but I need to get them, and try them out. Here's another 15 bin portable parts storage case from Harbor Freight. The sticker is on here really, really well. They do not want you to take the sticker off, which is interesting because the sticker covers most of the clear lid to see what's inside. But this, again, you know, it was probably between $8 and $12. And I got this when I was still trying to figure out how I wanted to organize things and what system I was going to use. But I really like this. I keep my fuses and bulbs in here. And it has this really nice handle. The lid opens. I don't want to dump everything else. And it's kind of like a Sortimo system because it's one big box. There are no predefined spaces. And it has these little cups that when you have it tipped, they don't want to go back in. But the little cups, and then there are some bigger ones at the bottom, and you can rearrange them to fit in there how you want. And I keep my, you know, fuses and bulbs in there. The latches are really strong, and it holds really well. You tip them over and shake them, everything is still in the box that you put it in. And just because you're getting organized doesn't mean you have to take something out of its original box and put it into a new box. You know, your garage doesn't have to be like the Container Store where you just take everything out of the package that it came in no matter what and put it into this other thing. These little solder seal wire connectors came in a box that's a nice size, and it's a good size for them, and I just throw it on the shelf. It's perfect. I don't have a bunch of other stuff like this that I want to match it with, and what I keep my regular butt connectors and pins and clips in didn't really have enough empty spaces to justify this and fit it in. So yeah, just leave it in the case that it comes in, and if you find it something that you're going to get a lot of, then figure out a way to store it. Or maybe you have several boxes like this size, and what you need is just something to put these in. Which brings me to my last piece. This is Car Guy Tupperware. I got this from Summit. We were at the shop outside of Atlanta, and I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I need to try it. It was like $4. It's a really nice hard plastic. It's got a really nice lid that fits on it. And this is just a small parts storage. They call it small parts tote. And you can see I have in here little boxes. Oil filter, throwout bearing guide, input seal, spark plugs, rear main seal. So these are parts that I'm trying to keep organized for the job that I'm doing coming up. I need a good place to store them. And you know what? This little box is fantastic. And now where all those little things might stack weird on the shelf, they all fit in this tote, and this tote shoots right in there. And I can write on it. I can use the label maker or whatever. Now I've got a good way to keep them. This box I also plan on taking when I do runs to the junkyard. And like you get some small parts, you need to keep them in something. This tote is just nice and solid. I feel good about using it for that. It's not going to get messed up or anything. And I'm not taking Tupperware out of the kitchen. Don't take Tupperware out of the kitchen unless you are also, well, unless you're single and you're the only one who uses the Tupperware, or you plan on gifting new Tupperware to the other people in the house who use the Tupperware before you take the old stuff and use it on your cars. So that's it. I hope you found something in that useful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.